all I heard was at the back was bang, bang, and then screams. And then she started crying.
What's that? Off of Old Town, there's a square beginning with G.
Grafton Square.
Grafton Square. I got a couple wanted to go to Grafton Square. This is about 4 weeks ago, and I was quite pleased that I could come down Clapham High Street and then do your right into Stonehouse, Clapham Manor Street, up to the end, left Larkhall Lane.
It'd be Rise or Lane, wouldn't it?
Rise, and then there's a little cubic terrace.
Mm-hmm.
You can come around a couple of little doubles and brings you into Grafton Square from the back end. I was quite pleased that that I learned that on the knowledge, obviously.
Yeah, that little way in.
Yeah, that's quite pleasing, and they're always surprised that you know it, kind of thing. How do you know that? And then on the other flip side of that, you've got people just give you a postcode. You're never going to know it.
Yeah, this is the new thing, isn't it? The postcodes is obviously someone said it was related to the Ubers and the apps and stuff like that. Yeah. Because we don't know. I have no idea. The postcodes mean nothing to me, zero. No. So I need a street name.
Yeah, I always ask you what's the street name, as long as it's inside the 6 mile radius.
Yeah.
Obviously, if he's outside, then I wouldn't know.
Yeah, they're expecting you to punch it in somewhere, aren't they? Punch the postcode in.
I do. I use Google all the time. Mm-hmm. It's a very, very useful tool for points that you've never heard of, what have you. And some of them will be in the West End. A lot of them will be in the West End, because although you've done a lot of pointing in the West End, there's about 20,000 other places that you don't know. So that goes in
all the time.
Bang, and all you really want to know is where is it?
Yeah.
And then I can get you there. Done.
Yeah. You don't need much else.
No, not really.
Well, the days of having a map book on your lap are over. Now I imagine you've got a map book on your iPad or whatever it is in front of you, or on your phone.
I only have my phone. I haven't got an iPad.
There's a map on it though, isn't there? You've got an AZ
I've got Google Maps on there, and I've got Cabby's Mate on there. Both useful tools. Cabby's Mate I use for the if I'm taking customer to an area that I'm unfamiliar with, I'll have Cabby's Mate as the main screen, and that bleeps up when you're coming up to a speed camera. So, because on the roads that you know where the speed cameras are, you're going to be slowing down a little bit for them.
Yeah.
Unfamiliar roads, it's quite easy to get caught out. Cabby's Mate's very good for that.
Okay.
That's really all I use Cabby's Mate for.
Yeah. Do you enjoy it, Emery?
Yes, I do enjoy it. And obviously, when you asked me earlier if it's worth it, yeah, it's worth it. But when you said worth it, like earning wise, but my priority was to start doing knowledge was in the time that you have for yourself.
Yeah.
Rather than the earning. Of course, earning is very important, but the time that you have for yourself it was really important for me. Like spend time with your family whenever they need you. So that's why I love it. I mean, and then again, sometimes you just go home and then you feel, you don't feel like working.
Yeah.
You can just say, I'm not going to work. But when you work for someone, you can't do that. You just have to go to work.
Yeah.
So that's why I love it.
So another thing that happens when you first start is deciding how you're going to work. So do you work hours? Do you work money? Do you work shifts? What is your plan of how you go out and how you come home?
I do hours.
Hours?
Yeah. What
hours do you do?
Well, I initially started doing the daytime, and then I changed my mind.
Hard, isn't it, the daytime?
It's you earn less money, and plus you spend so much time on the traffic and and I thought I'll try doing the nighttime. So I usually go out about 5-6 p.m.
Right.
And work until like 10-11.
Is that it? Very, very short shifts.
Yeah. And then Saturday, Sunday I do full.
All right.
And Sunday's my favorite day. I love it.
Yes. So we've taken you away from
No, it's fine. It's absolutely...
Sundays
the reason I love it is because the roads are more quiet, and then it's more busy than ever.
What's the secret to working on a Sunday?
What is the secret?
Yeah. Where do you go?
You know what? I usually look on the app because I start from the Essex.
Right.
I'm from Chadwell Heath.
Which
so
app?
I had him.
Which app?
The Free Now.
Okay.
So I see if I get a job near around... never do, but but if not, then I usually go City Airport. But during the weekdays, I usually go to City Airport if I don't get a job on the app. But if I don't, Saturdays, Sundays, I usually come to town.
Right. So you start your day normally on the City Airport rank.
In the when I start 5, 6 o'clock.
Yeah. So you come
So
in.
from home I go to City Airport. If I don't see any job going in from the app.
So how long are you waiting on City Airport rank to get a job?
Depends actually. Sometimes I wait 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wait. I
And
think the most I waited was like 45 minutes.
Right.
That was it. But I was lucky enough all the time. It was always worth it waiting for that time.
Yeah. So where
It's
the
always
fares
happy.
generally go are
They generally go to the town.
City,
like yesterday,
Canary Wharf.
I'll tell you what. Yesterday, I had one going to Pullman, St Pancras.
Okay.
So that was really decent actually.
And then you
John,
carry
sorry,
on
how
from
much?
there, obviously. So you start your day at City Airport, and then once
Yeah.
you're in town, you carry on from there.
Yeah, then obviously straight from there. I just went to the St Pancras. I usually go to St Pancras International,
Right.
and it was all empty.
Yep.
Passengers was waiting there. Straight away, I got another job from there.
So then you'd finish about 10 o'clock.
What?
Your shift. You said you work about 6.
No, Saturdays I usually work all day.
Okay.
Saturdays and Sundays.
In the week.
But in the weekday, depends obviously. If I get a job opposite direction where I live, then obviously I'm coming in again. Maybe I'll get another job. But I'll tell you one more thing about going home. So I learned my mistake now, because now I put the light off. If I want to go home, I just go home.
Yeah.
Because I think it happens to you as well, maybe, Larry. You just want to get that one job in it.
Yeah.
You just want to gamble, and then it goes exactly the opposite direction then.
So, yeah,
Hurts.
sod's law. Yeah.
I mean, one day, Lee, she arranged me a day tour for this person with her parents. So I was just going to do like until like 5 o'clock. And I thought, 5 o'clock. I promised my wife I'm going to come home 6 o'clock and take them out somewhere. And it was 5 o'clock, Euston Station. I dropped them off. Yeah. And I tend to go home. And I looked at the rank, the Euston Station rank. It was people queuing up. There's no cab. And then I thought, I have to get someone from there. You know, it doesn't look good, because we have to, you know, we have to serve the people there. I get that one job, and if he goes to the city or somewhere, then yes, I'm laughing. So I went there. The guy jumped in, and he said he wants to go to Shepherd's Bush. And then I thought my wife, you know what? I'm not gonna make it. I'm late.
Yeah.
And then I can't refuse. I never refuse a job.
No, you can't once you've done it.
When I've got my light on, I have to take that job.
Yep.
It's like, again, because last time I was getting home, I was on All Street roundabout, went to the All Street, and then I got flagged down by a lady, and I was getting home. And I thought, okay, I'm going to take this one. And she jumped in, she said, I want to go to Paddington Station. So after that, I thought, nah, just switch it off and then go home.
Larry, do you do the same? You on hours or you on money?
Neither really. I just go out and I'll work until I don't feel like working anymore. I don't tend to. Everyone starts off doing long shifts, and you know there's big money there, and your £500 a shift and stuff like that. We've all done some of that, but it wears off quite quickly. Maybe not for the younger guys,
No.
but certainly for someone my age, that wears off quite quickly, and you realise you have to settle into something that is sustainable.
Yeah.
That you can manage. But also, I don't like to do the same hours. I'll mix it up. I'll do earlies, mid-mornings till mid-evening, and then sometimes I'll work till 4 o'clock in the morning.
You have the freedom, though, to
I have the freedom to do
change
that.
that.
Yeah, I haven't got to answer to anyone indoors, so I'm quite lucky in that respect. And it does keep it more interesting, because you get very, very different people, very different jobs at night than you do during the day. Yeah. And I like a little bit of both of them. So I'll suffer the traffic on the day shifts a couple of weeks, and then I'll have a break from it and I'll do nights.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit easier. Probably do earn more money at night. It is easier to move around, certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably
The hourly rate at night is better.
Without a doubt. Probably the best time to come in is, like Emery says, start at City Airport around about 6:30, something like that. I'm very, very careful with City Airport. I've been burnt there a few times where I've been on a rank for an hour and got Canary Wharf or XL kind of thing. So I won't sit on a long.
Just
long
out of
rank.
interest, how much is City Airport to Canary Wharf at the moment?
About
People-
£15.
So you got £15 for the hour, not including the driving in time that you drive.
Not include the drive from City Airport. I've been there longer than an hour and got Canary Wharf. So you've got to be very, very careful with it. Yeah, there is many, many, many jobs offer there that don't go anywhere near where you want to be. Rough with a smooth. I mean, yesterday I picked my first job. I picked up there, went to Englefield Road. I mean, it was like 45 quid. That's on rate 2 Saturday.
So you have the same routine as Emery, which you're pulling into City Airport to start off.
That depends on what time I start, because you've got to really look at the incoming flights. How many of them are there? Sometimes I'll just stay on the A30 and go straight past it.
Yeah.
Other times I'll come through it, and if there's a long queue of cabs, then I'll just drive straight past them and I'll start looking at Canary Wharf. My favourite place to start is Tooley Street. I come straight through the highway, go over Tower Bridge, Tooley Street. Not guaranteed to get a job, but 80% of the time, you'll pick something up.
We all find our little starting street.
You do, don't you?
For me, I'm Mile End based, so I would drive along Commercial Road or along the Whitechapel Road, or I would go over to Canary Wharf to start. But my little street for starting off, once, if nothing's happening, was always Eastcheap. I'd always go into Eastcheap and just drive up and down and wander around. The thing is, you're not going anywhere. You don't need to be anywhere. You're just looking for a passenger. So the fact that you go around the block 6 times is exactly the same as just driving mindlessly from Eastcheap to Oxford Street. There's no point to doing that. You may as well stay where you are roughly and pick up something and then go.
I've never done that. It makes a lot of sense actually,
does,
but I tend to if I don't pick up anything up on Tooley Street, I'll drive into London Bridge Station. If there's nothing there, I'll come straight out. I'll go across the bridge and I'll go up Bishopsgate. I'll look at Liverpool Street Station. And this has happened a number of times where there's nothing all the way through there.
Yeah.
Light up at Liverpool Street and think, well, this is not worth it. And then make your way to King's Cross. So, but that's not that often. It's happened a number of times, but not that often. Generally speaking, I'll pick something up before I cross London Bridge.
Okay, so things have picked up now. So now let's move on to what's the worst fare you've had. Worst passenger, the runners.
I haven't had any runners as such.
Okay.
I did have 4 lads from Piccadilly. This was very late. It might have been a Friday or Saturday night. 2 o'clock in the morning, something like that. Got howled. The one soberish guy, is talking to you through the window, and you say, "Oh yeah, okay." And then he calls his mates along. Said, "I've got 4 of them in the back." And they were quite well behaved. They were fairly quiet, but I could see him on mirror. There was one of them was just laughing like a lot. So couldn't make out why, but he was just giggling. So we got to the other end. They wanted to go out right out near Heathrow. Obviously lived out there. But as I've come down the Heathrow approach road to the roundabout, gone left up the slip road as you go into the A4. There's a petrol station there, and they said, "I'll just pull in the petrol station there, mate, that will do us." So obviously I got my foot on the brake, no one's opening any doors. And they've given me cash through the thing. I've got like 70 quid. So thank you very much, took my foot off the brake, opened the door for them, and out they get. But they ran away. Now I'm thinking, have I got dodgy money here?
Yeah.
And I think so. I start filling all the notes. All hunky-dory. What's that all about? So I've got out the cab and look in the back, and there was a pile of sick, really thick. This wasn't like watery or anything. It's really, really thick. Big pile like that in the back. And I thought,
Oh no.
and just at that moment, an elderly American gentleman walked up to me and said, "Excuse me, can you take me to Terminal 3? And I said, "Sorry, mate, I can't take you anywhere at the moment." I said, "I've got a big pile of sick in the back." He saw in the back. "Oh, no," he said, "that's terrible." And he said, "Look, there's a car wash there. I'll come and help you." Lovely old boy he was. Went over to the car wash. It wasn't working. They had like a jet wash there.
Yeah,
it wasn't working. So I carry everything in the taxi that I need to clean it out thoroughly. Got bottles of water, I've got anti-bac, I've got deodorizer, rags, rubber gloves, the lot. So I cleaned it all out, and he's still hanging about, this bloke. Still, he won't go away. So I said, "Look, I'm happy to take you." I said, "But I've got to clean this out properly." He said, "Oh, fair enough, I'll wait. I'm in no rush." Cleaned it all out, probably took me about 15 minutes, and he helped me. He was getting hold of Loads of sick formula in brush. I'll give him a pair of rubber gloves. He wanted to get involved. So got it all cleaned up, dropped him out Terminal 3, 20 quid cash. So all in all, can I say that's my worst fare? I got 90 quid in about an hour and a half.
Does the sick smell linger?
No, not if you carry all the right gear with you. I mean, I did have to go as far as, because I got a Vito, you got the metal strip along the side, holds the carpet down. I had to remove that.
Yeah.
But I carry everything I need to do this because sick goes under that. Cleaned it all up, deodorised, sanitised, got the antibac spray. Lovely.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know.
The smell of sick just sometimes lingers and you just cannot get rid of it. Years later, someone will say, has someone been sick in your cab? And you think, that was 3 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, if it goes down the side of the seat, you got a bit of a problem. This was all in one great big heap on the floor. So it was relatively easy to deal with.
It's a very unique smell, isn't it, vomit? Emre?
I've always had a decent passengers, but I think the worst experience I've had must be the couple I picked up from Claridge's Hotel. They had a few drinks, but they were alright. And then they came in, they jumped in, and they wanted to go to Bromley. So the lady started talking. She said her father was a black cab driver, and then good chat about 15-20 minutes. And then all of a sudden she's gone quiet and had a few chats with the gentleman. And then he was gone quiet as well. I thought they're sleeping. So I was somewhere in Catford Road, somewhere there. And I went to go to the right lane as the right lane was just coming up. And then there was a car in front of me. It looks like he was going to the right as well. But then all of a sudden he just stopped. He's just done it wasn't a harsh brake, but he just done a brake. So I've done a brake as well. As soon as I've done that brake, all I heard was at the back was bang, bang, and then screams. And then she started crying, the passenger, and then obviously she fell down. So what I realized is she lay down on the back seat, and then she put her head on the husband's lap. So she was sleeping. I think the gentleman was sleeping as well. So when I've done that brake, she fell off the seat, and then she was complaining about her head. I think she hit her head somewhere. And I felt really, really bad. And she was like, screaming. And then the gentleman said, "It's all your fault, driver," and all that. But he was joking. They were so nice, such a nice couple. But I felt
that was the worst bit. That was the
worst bit. But I feel really bad all the way through the journey. She was like, "Oh, my head." But after that, they came out. They were really happy with me. But it wasn't my fault, obviously. But I felt really bad. Obviously, you have to see if she was wearing a seatbelt, that wouldn't happen. But
yeah, I think
I felt really bad.
The responsibility might be upon them. I don't think it's our responsibility to make passengers wear their seatbelts. I think it's up to them to wear them.
Yeah. But I've never actually known that, to be honest with you. In a private car,
in our
taxi,
driver's
responsibility.
In a private car, it is.
In a private car, it's a driver's responsibility.
So maybe we
make
need to
sure his passengers wearing belts.
I would have thought in our business it's
so
actually up to them.
I'll get blamed for that, then, isn't it?
I'm not sure. We're waiting upon a grey area. Maybe we're going to have someone who on the podcast who's listening that's going to actually exactly know the answer. But I would have put the blame on the fact that you got in the vehicle, you're a paying customer, the seatbelt situation is they're there for you to put on. I am not a childminder. It's not for me to check that you're doing this stuff. I'm just a driver. Any sensible adult will put a seatbelt on, but how many put their seatbelt on in the back of your cab?
In mine went children, everyone, because I won't drive away.
All right, with the children.
It's really surprising the amount of people, adults, who will let you drive away and their child's not wearing a seatbelt. I won't have it. I say, well, we're not going anywhere till the children's got a seatbelt on. You can do what you like.
What if they're sitting on the flap-down seats?
They're still going to have a seatbelt on.
I know, but if they're facing backwards, so if you broke, they're going to be pushed into the back rather than pushed forward.
Still got to have a seatbelt.
Okay.
I mean, I believe that would be the law. I don't think you can carry a child in a taxi without a seatbelt. I think that would be the law.
They're all supposed to have their seatbelt on. The law is there, but what we're arguing about here is the responsibility.
Oh, right.
Is it yours or theirs? So, and I have to confess, I would have thought it was theirs, but we'll find out. I'm pretty sure. So I'll try and find out before we put this out, and then we'll all know.
Google the law.
But I still feel bad for her.
Yeah.
She must have hurt her head really bad. It's just a big noise at the back.
My brother has a fantastic one when in his cab, the woman had stood up while he was still driving along, and she's going through her pockets. So when you stand up in a cab, you have to bend over, don't you? She's going through her pockets to get the fare, and then he had to brake, and she hit the partition window with her face, and he said, "You have to come and see it." And so I went down to look, and you could see her lips, her face, her nose, and her eye perfectly sweat implanted on the divider glass. It was amazing to see. You could see this woman's complete pain of like hitting the window and leaving a face print, basically. You could see exactly what she looked like at the moment of impact.
I've had it a few times where I've pulled away a little bit too quickly. This was with grown-ups, and they haven't quite sat down yet. And so I kind of make them sit down, not intentionally, but as I've got, I just got to keep my foot on the brake. Make sure everyone's seated, and I often say that now. Is everyone seated? And then I pull away, because I've had so many of them actually fall back into the seat.
Yeah.
With the like middle-aged younger people, it's not too bad. But you've got an old one, they can break something. So
did you work yesterday, Larry?
I worked yesterday. Yeah.
Did you work yesterday, Mary?
Yes, I did.
Okay. What did you take yesterday?
What did I earn yesterday?
Yeah.
About £200.
About 200.
But I didn't do much hours.
Okay. Do you want to say the hours? Did you?
Yeah. I've started about either 11:30. I think I went to the city airport. I think I picked up the passenger about 11:30 or 12 or something
In the afternoon.
And I finished about 5 p.m.
Yep. Okay.
So I've done about 5 hours.
And you, Larry?
Yeah, similar. It's about 6 hours I did, a couple of hundred.
Yep. Okay. That'd be nice for the people that are listening who want to know some truth. There's going to be someone pointing out, oh yeah, but you had to pay your rent from that, but and the fuel costs from that.
Yeah, when you talk about how much you took in a day, it's relevant, but it's not that relevant because you don't actually earn anything like that. You have got lots of costs, not just your daily cost of your fuel and whatever, but you've got your intermediate costs of servicing and repairs and stuff like that.
Oh, you own your cab now, Larry?
Yeah.
And Emery, did you buy yours?
No, I'm renting.
Renting.
HP
Okay.
Taxi, yeah.
You've got an electric cab. What is the rental per week on your electric cab?
It's $340 a week.
Okay. And you've bought a cab, Larry. What are the payments on your cab each week? Do you know?
No, I just bought it.
Oh, outright. Okay. Can't argue with that. How much did you pay for it?
29,000. 4 years old.
Electric?
No, Vito.
Oh, you bought a Vito. 29,000 Vito. 4 years old. So that sounds very good economics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's pretty good nick, to be honest with you. Not too much wrong with it. I haven't got the facility to charge at home, so I had to take that into consideration when I was making my mind up what to buy. Initially, when I first passed that, my intention always was to just rent a TX4 for a year to judge what it's like, how many accidents am I going to likely to have, do I like the job? But this one came up and it weren't going to be there 2 days later, so I jumped on it. This was right at the time, when there was a shortage of the cabs.
Yeah.
You couldn't rent for love nor money, and this one came up, so I thought, bang, have that one. I don't regret it at all. It's lovely. And like I say, if you haven't got the home charging facility, I don't really want to spend an hour and 20 minutes of my shift charging just to work. So I've got a reasonable commute in and a reasonable commute home. To me, that's enough dead time.
Yeah.
And not to complain, I've so rarely get a job going my way. It's always west.
Yeah.
And I'm very similar to Emre. If I decide I've had enough, light goes off. And that can be Chiswick.
And what about the going home on free now? You have the going home.
Yeah, I've used the apps, but I don't like using the
Nothing
apps.
really goes to the furthest I've gone east was like Canary Wharf.
Yeah.
I've never been further than that, and that was like once.
Tower Hill and all that.
Did you not learn, if you live Essex, you kind of go to Liverpool Street and rank up as your last job?
Well, I've done that once, and
you got on Oxford.
no, they wanted to go to somewhere up north, and then it was about three gentlemen. They said, what was it? Somewhere in Hertfordshire, somewhere up on top of north. And then they said, is that somewhere near that you live? And I said, no, I don't live near that, but I can take you. So I think the reason they ask, you know, like if it's taking you
You
home,
want
they
a
might ask for a
discount.
discount.
Yeah.
So I thought,
Yeah.
I don't live near there. And then they just walked off.
Oh, okay. That was hoping for it.
No, they didn't want to go.
See, the thing about going to Liverpool Street and ranking is you're in a rank. There's probably other cabs in the rank. You can't broom jobs.
No, but you
So
generally.
if someone comes up and they don't want to go your way, you're going to drive off empty.
But the Liverpool Street is feeding the east. The station's feeding the east. So if they've missed trains and stuff, you're going to get East End fares predominantly.
Yeah.
And the people that are not so much going east, they're probably flagging from the street anyway as they're walking along Bishopsgate or North Folgate. But yeah, generally. I mean, I have a lot of friends that used to really... The Liverpool Street and the Charing Cross, they really are worked quite badly by a few people doing a little bit of bad stunts. My friend used to walk along Charing Cross, get out of the cab and ask anybody if they was going to Cheam. And they'd go to his cab. It's a really, really bad thing to do.
If he wants to go to Cheam, all he's got to do is follow me around.
Is that
Because
what
every job will take me that way. and I dropped. I dropped. This is Friday night, I think. I dropped in Mayfair. I come out into Piccadilly. Guy hailed me, said, "Can you take me to the Opera House?" I thought, well, it's my way. Yeah, jump in. It's only like 10 quid, something like that. Dropped him at the Opera House, and I should have just turned the light off there, but I didn't. I come out of there. I've gone Fleet Street, just going up Lagate Hill, and a guy jumps out, boom, 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 pulls up. I thought, oh, I might be really lucky here, because I'm thinking the further east you are in the city, the more chance you've got they're going east.
Yeah.
Can you take me to Isleworth? Yes, mate, jump in.
Yeah.
Turn around, go. And that was it. I turned the light on after that. I come right the way back through the West End with my light off. Because when you've had enough, you've had enough.
Yes, you can't push it.
You start getting tired, get ratty. It's not good to be driving like that. So there has to be a cut-off point.
What about drunks? You like picking up drunks?
Don't, generally speaking, like it at all. Some of them are funny, some of them not funny. I've had a number of occasions where, you know, they get a little bit leery and whatever, and I just stop the car and say, "Do you want to go home?" "Yeah." "Don't piss me off, because you're pissing me off. You won't get home." And they generally quiet down. You got to be quite serious with them.
Mm-hmm.
The ones who are just a little bit jolly, you can sense that. You can sense whether they're going to be a problem to you or not. You just jolly along with them. Some of them, you cannot wait to get to the other end and get them out. They won't stop talking, and it's all the B word kind of thing. I had 4 guys from Old Street. This was not long after I started, actually. It would have been pre-Christmas, so it was in my first few weeks. And they pulled me over and they said, "Will you take us to," it was up in Luton somewhere, near Luton. I said, "Yeah, it's all right, no problem." So how much are you going to be? So I'll give them a rough estimate. I know it was like 180 quid. They said, "We'll give you £200 cash. Will that do you?" I said, "Yeah, do me lovely. You're going to have to stop the cash machine because none of us got any cash." So I said, "Oh, fair enough." So 4 of them get in, different levels of drunkenness. One of them was pretty sober. So I said, "Look, do me a favour, take a couple of bags in the back with you. Always carry bags for me. If anyone's going to be sick, try and do it in a bag." He said, "There won't be a problem, mate." I said, "Take the bags anyway." He said, "All right, I'll do it. Just keep quiet." Anyway, we pulse round. Now the fun starts. One of them, great big guy, looked like grizzly bear kind of thing, big bushy beard. He must have been on the gear all night because he would not stop talking. But I wasn't worried because it was very clear these were 4 very close guys. They was the banter, you can tell from it, you know, there's a lot of backwards and forwards slagging each other off. So it was fine. But he would not stop talking. And I had this all the way to Luton. He didn't stop. He kept threatening to hit everyone and whatever. Obviously he wasn't going to, but he was one of these fellas. Anyway, we gets there, where they're going, right in the middle of nowhere, back or beyond, down country lanes. But I've got my money, I'm fine, I'm not worried about it at all. Gets halfway down a country lane, there's no houses there, and they say, "I'll just drop us here, mate, that'll do." So I stops, they gets out, and it's all "thank you very much" and whatever. And the guy who was the most sober, he said, "By the way, my mate was sick, but I caught all of it." True his word, he got all it. He was waiting for his mate to throw up because he could tell, and he just put it under his head. There weren't anything in the back of the van. So I thought, thank you very much, mate. I've took that off him, threw it in the bushes. That's gone.
In the bushes?
In the bushes, that's gone. Yeah, it's all recyclable. It's all recyclable. And anyway, I'm in the narrow country lane. They've walked off in the distance, and I'm just turning the taxi round, and I could hear a load of shouting. So I've stopped, and I said, what's the matter? They've come back, and they said, look, my mate's lost his watch. Can we check that it's not in the cab? I said, yeah. So we've all got our phones out. We've all got lights on, looking everywhere for this phone. It's like £5,000 worth of phone. And
Phone or watch?
No, a watch, sorry. Watch. Nowhere to be found. And I don't know, he was so drunk. Someone could have took it off him in the club. He could have fell off in the club.
Yeah.
He wouldn't know. He just wouldn't know. He was that far out of it. So I said, sorry, mate, not much I can do about it. I mean, apart from having all the seats out, which I'm not going to do. No. But we looked everywhere and it wasn't.
And then you said to him, look, it's 8:30. It's 8:30 at the moment. I'm on their watch.
Actually give me 240 quid, to be honest with you. Oh, so wow. It was a really, really good job. Really good job. I that's like 600 quid that night, I earned. It's a lot of money. That was after right at the end of a very good night. Mm. But like I say, early days that was. I wouldn't be doing that now. I'm not taking that kind of job after at the end of an 8 or 9 hour shift. I don't want to go out now.
No. And Emery, have you ever had a day where you've taken around about £500?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done about 530 a day one day. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So just for people listening to know that that's sort of like.
But obviously, you're not doing that in like 7-8 hours.
No.
You have to put in the hours.
Well, I used to do long shifts. I used to really enjoy it. I didn't want to go home. I used to just get in the flow.
That's how it is, isn't it?
Your wife watching this?
Well, it was before that. So I was, my wife at the time was living in Denmark studying, and we had a bit of free time. So I had nowhere to go while I was working. So I would just carry on working. I would really enjoy it. And obviously when we was home and together, then I would go home. But no, in them days, no, I used to stay out quite a lot. I used to love it. And now I'm like you, Larry, as you get to a certain age, it's a bit more difficult to sit in that chair for longer periods and stay focused, and even harder if it's a quiet time. So for me, it has to be ticking over, and even then I'm not going to be staying out super long hours. It's ticking over, and now I've had enough. I'm going home. I'm done.
Yeah, 8 or 9 hours and my backside is starting to hurt.
Yeah,
backs of my legs starting to hurt, and I know I've had enough. Yeah. Up until that point, I'm fairly comfortable, to be honest with you.
So just to quick example, I'm going to finish in a second, which is the last question really, Larry. If you had a friend and I come to you and I say, I want to do the knowledge, I want to become a taxi driver, is it worth me doing it?
I would always say it's worth doing it, but I'd tell them the truth about what you have to put in. Because if I'd have known before I started, I might not have done it. Okay. If I'd have known how difficult it was. It is, you really do have to focus 100%. If you're not able to do that, don't waste your time, because you probably won't last the course.
And would you say the same thing, Emery, or would you be a little bit more less honest?
I 100% agree. I would explain them how difficult it is. It's not an easy thing to do. I mean, if I can say, look at this way, like once you start, you have to go all the way. Say you start, and then after a year and a half, you stopped, and then you spend that year and a half for no reason. Yeah, you wasted your time. Yeah, so you know, when I had my first attempt, which I failed, it's always a big regret for me, because that time goes by. Yeah. Even if it takes 3 years, 4 years, if you think 3 years, 4 years is a long time, but then that time goes by. Yeah, and then you say to yourself, 4 years ago, I should have done it. I should have done it. Now now I'm a cab driver. But as Larry said, exactly, you have to be dedicated. Yeah. If not, then.
If it was a youngster, I would say yes, do it now. What if you're still living at home with mum and dad? Do it now. Do it before you meet a girl that you're going to get married to, anything like that. Do it before you got any overheads of paying for your own bills in your own flat. Why are you giving your mum like 100 quid a month? Do it now.
The problem with the youngsters is their perception of time is completely different to ours. So we're watching the years fly by now, and 2 years of our lives is nothing. Whereas a youngster who's in their 20s is thinking, 2 years' time, I'll be 30. Thinks it's years and years away. They can't see far enough. And but if they did do it and they got it under their belt and they realised that they're only 22 now and they've finished it, and the world is their oyster. or their lobster, as Rodney would say.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
But listen, guys, thank you. It's been wonderful having a chat. I hope that people are going to benefit from your insights as what it's like to be Butter Boys. And I hope the little stories are all interesting. The fact that you've told them so many little insight secrets. And maybe I'll have you both back in the future to do another podcast when we talk about the fact of how you find it in a few years' time.
Yeah, because it's been about 7 months since I've been out, but I can just talk all day. I can get a lot of stories. I'm sure you do as well, Larry. You get, you get a lot of stories down here. It's just 7 months only.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how many stories you have. Like,
well, yeah, in the end, the stories get less because you take no notice of them. So, in a sense, the stories keep happening, and you just I've got so much more going on in your stride that you literally you don't notice it.
They become less and less bizarre.
Yeah.
Just the one more thing. I reluctantly, saying that about the drunk passenger, I reluctantly took 5 guys. They were drunk. They were not drunk, but they were drunk. But I had to take them because I couldn't drive away because I was stopped. The car was stopped, and then they came to me, and it was a short distance job anyway, and they were going to. I forgot the name now. It's somewhere in South Molton Lane, just off of Brook Street. And as I was driving around, I picked them up in Walton Street. So they were like singing, dancing. I thought, let them sing because I'm going to drop them off in a minute. So you just don't feel good, innit? You got people at the back who just want to drop them off quickly. And you just like that, just drop them off. And then all of a sudden I came to Berkeley Square. And then they all stopped and, they see all these lights. It goes, hey, one of them said, yeah, this is Sloane Square. Yeah. And they said, yeah. And then I just start laughing. It just made me laugh there. So that was just the one thing that I'll never forget.
They're laughing.
And they all think that Berkeley Square was Sloane Square. And then it just made me laugh for some reason. I was like,
I'd have to go, I think, sometime before I pick up anything equivalent to a bloke I picked up Clapham High Street, Clapham South Station, and he got in. He looked, as I'm driving up, he looked fine. He got in. He was clearly had too much to drink. It turns out he didn't stop talking either. He was a male sex worker, and he wants to go back to King's Cross, just off Caledonia Road. There's a little mews there, just over the bridge, gated. So he's talking all the way about he's got this job over there. Oh, he's an actor, but he does this to make his money up, kind of on the side. And this bloke had let him down, and he had this bag with him, and he's pulling all kinds of dildos out and showing me this, showing me that. I said, I don't want to know, mate. It was excruciating journey. Eventually, no, not in that way, but he was a pain in the ass. We got him up to Caledonia Road, pulls up outside this gated mews. And I looked at the fare, so that's so-and-so. He said, I haven't got any money on me. I said, what? He said, I've got loads indoors. I'll go indoors. And I said, I can't drive in there. It's gated. And whatnot. He said, no, you'll have to come in. I'll give it to you because there's no way that he's going in without me. So I've turned it all off and everything. Gone in this little gate mews, up this set of steps to his front door. And I'm thinking, oh, my God, am I doing the right thing? Should I just wipe my lip and go? Goes in his house. He said, do you want a drink? I said, he's been paid 300 quid for what he's just done. I said, no, mate. I said, look, you've been working, I've been working, I just want my wages the same as you. He said, all right, fair enough. Walks into his front room and there's a table there. There was pile after pile of cash there. And he just picked an handful up and give it to me. He said, thank you very much, and what have you, blah, blah, blah. Believe it. And he must earn a lot of money doing the old escorting. It made me think twice whether I actually chose the right road.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. But there was just
you could be an
piles of
escort,
money there. I know, it'd have to be a very niche market.
Niche, yeah.
Yeah, someone who likes miserable old gits.
Listen, thank you both for coming. Thank you both for spending the time. And sorry, George didn't make it, but I don't know when it will be released or when I put it out. I just edit them slowly. So over the next 10 weeks, this will go out on the thing.
Right.
Thank you both very much.
Don't edit this bit out. Don't edit this bit out. Thanks very much for all the help you give me, all the advice and the guidance. Priceless. Absolutely priceless. Don't edit that out.
I'll edit that out.
You knob.